Welcome to 335, take them all. So what do? In order to solve this challenge, what we want is Karel to take the stack of 100 tennis balls over here and move one spot. So in order to do that, we could just have Karel move and then take ball 100 times and then move again, but that's not very efficient. So what we are going to do instead is we're going to learn how to repeat a command using a for loop. So in order to create this command, what we're going to do, if we can go under docs and we can go down to loops if we scroll down, and we'll see that the format for a loop looks like this over here. So let's break down what that means and how we can use it. So to start with, write the word for, because we're going to repeat the command for a certain number of times. And we're going to then type var, which stands for variable. And we're going to say that our variable is I equals 0. So I is our variable. We're going to set it equal to 0. And let's just write the rest of the command and then go into it. So then we have semicolon, space, I is less than count, which means a certain amount. So in this case, let's just put 4. And let's just space it out so that's easy to read. Then we have another semicolon, and then we have space I plus plus. At the end of that, we have an open curly bracket, and then we need a closed curly bracket, and we can hit enter. So we have this command over here. So for variable I equals 0, I is less than 4, I plus plus, what the heck does that mean? So in terms of I plus plus, that means post increment. And post increment means add 1 to the variable, and in this case, our variable is 0, over and over and over until I is less than count is no longer true. What? So what that means is our variable right now is 0, I equals 0. And currently the statement that we're trying to plug that into is we're plugging that into I is less than 4. So in this case, I is 0. So is the statement 0 is less than 4 true? Yes, it is true. So we're going to do this again. And our variable was 0, but post increment says now add 1 to it every time. So 0 plus 1 is now just the statement 1. So 1 is what we're going to plug in. So 1 is less than 4. That's also a true statement, and it's going to then add 1 again. 2, then plug in 2 is less than 4. That's a true statement. Then 3, so 3 is less than 4. That's a true statement. And then 4 is less than 4. That is a false statement. They are equal. They are not. 4 is not less than it. So the total number of times our statement was true was 4. So that is why it is going to run 4 times. But what is going to run 4 times? So we need to say what we want specifically Karel to do. So underneath the for line, if we space this down and we hit tab so that we're 4 spaces in, we can tell Karel what to do. So if I want Karel to move, what this is going to do is Karel is going to move 4 times. So let's run that code and see what happens. So run. So for this command, we're going to repeat that 4 times until that statement is no longer true. But in this case, we don't want to repeat moving. We want to repeat taking the ball. So the first thing we need to do is in our start function, we need to move 1 space to get to that spot. And then after we move, we want to repeat the commands take ball. So notice that we have in our start function, the first thing to do is move, and then we have our for loop, which is inside of here, which is take ball. So in this case, if I click run, we're going to move, and then we'll loop the command take ball 4 times. And then after that, so we can see how many ball are left, we'll move again, and this will be outside of the loop. So after the loop, which ends on line 5, I'm going to put another command, which is then going to be move again, inside of the start function, but outside of the for loop. So let's click run again. So move. He's going to do it. He's going to take the ball this many times, running the commands, adding 1 post increment until it's not true. And we have took 4 of the tennis ball. In this case, we don't want to do it 4 times. We want to do it 100 times. So again, if we were to run this, he'll do it quite slowly. So I'm going to speed him up over here. So we see he's doing it all 100 times. He took them, and then he moved. And we have successfully used a for loop with a particular variable, which in this case, we set it to 100 to repeat 100 times, and we're able to do that. So make sure you get your syntax right. So your for loop over here, you're going to make sure that you have the word for, parentheses, variable, space, I, space, equals, space, 0. The space is for the formatting purpose. Semicolon, then I is less than however many times you want it to happen. And then semicolon, and then I plus plus, meaning post increment, meaning increase this to make it happen that many number of times. Open curly bracket, and then your commands, then close curly bracket. So if I wanted the command that was looping to not be take ball, but to instead be put ball, do that, and it would loop 100 times. But the result would be, instead of taking 100, I put 100, so now there's 200 ball in that spot. And that is how we solve take all. I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.